Yo. Okay. First thing, before I forget it, I call this look at what you ate. Now I just come from hiking. No, I went to the boulder hall. And when I came back here, I was actually hoping for some fruit, but there was none. Instead, there was fondue cheese. Now, the question that you or I always have to ask is, what am I going to eat? And now I felt like eating fondue cheese. For some insane reason, the idea of eating fondue cheese put a mad grin on my face. Now the thing is, I already know what's going to happen when I eat this. But I want to eat it anyway. Because I'm a human being, and maybe sometimes I feel a little bit overwhelmed. And maybe sometimes I just want to be in a kind of slumber. Because, just try to hear me out before you start judging me or something. Why would we judge you? Well, because I always feel everybody does, right? Right, it's like everybody's kind of judgmental these days. Yeah, not just because they're judgmental, but because, well, what do people do? They judge themselves. And I sometimes have this problem, there's like women that try to magnet man into their clutches. And some men fall for that. It's like greedy women that don't get enough. Yeah, they just want one man after another. I'm not even talking about sex here. I'm talking about women that want love from men, that want their attention. These women maybe have a boyfriend at home, but they come to you and they ask you questions. Could you help me with this? And then you go there and help them. And then they leave. I'm gonna eat all kinds of stuff now. Because my neighbor collects food from supermarkets that would otherwise be thrown away. And I feel it's a shame not to eat it. And so, now I'm eating it. Is that stupid? I don't know. I feel like after a hard day in the boulder hall and talking to people, I just want something to put a full stop. And that cheese meal certainly is going to put a full stop. Just look at that. That's just, I'm going to sleep and I'm going to fart. Yeah, of course, the question is that really smart? Now I say just go through with it, because I actually want it. You see, I don't know if you ever listened to Ramdas, but he said at one point he just got fat again. And I'm just gonna make a meal. You're just gonna put fondue cheese into an avo. I mean, that's like the heaven. But I also know it's gonna be hell. So it's incredibly stupid. I sacrifice my heaven now for a bit of heaven and then certainly hell. Because I know already it's gonna be hell. Because the reason actually why I was in heaven was because I fasted. Today, I used an irrigator, I went to the boulder hole, I ate nothing. And yet I felt fine. I ate nothing. I mean, just get that into your head. I literally ate nothing. And yet I felt fine. I had energy, I was light, and now I'm going to eat that cheese. Which is going to probably ruin it. Yeah? And then I have to deal with the consequences. You know, I'm you looking at yourself now, right? You know, I'm staring at you and I'm saying to you that this meal may seem delicious, but this is machine-produced food, which has all kinds of stuff in there to make it last longer. Yeah, and yet here I am, because today I say, I don't care. I mean, this is supposed to be hummus. Yeah. Tastes terrible. No, really. You know, it's really nice that some people collect food but you also have to ask yourself, what is food? If I would only eat evo, quark, right? So sometimes you just feel like, I have enough of this. Because the cost is too high. If I eat this, I will probably wake up drowsy. So maybe right now this is something that feels like it gives me pleasure. Because then I have a reason to be lazy. This is alright. But it's also emotional overload. And then the question is, who's even telling me to eat this? Because I know if I would just eat nothing, I'd probably feel better. But then you have to also hear me say that I'm a little bit stupid sometimes. I already can feel it, like it starts rumbling in there. And I'm just gonna chuck it. Because as nice as it is to rescue food, yeah? I mean, what are we rescuing here? Just shit. We're just rescuing shit. I don't even feel like taking the time to chew this. I just want to stuff myself. It's already amazing that I managed to take a bath. So when I came back and I saw this cheese, I was like, whoa. And there were 3 packages. I took 1 now. And then a voice says, it's a snake talking to you. There are literally energetic snakes. I feel them sometimes. Where do you think all the voices come from? Yeah? Where do you think all the voices come from? Nah, don't you want to watch porn? Ah, yeah, it's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard to go and work out now. Rather watch a movie. Yeah. You know, whatever these snakes are, but it's the serpent. And it's just testing you, mate. It's not evil. You don't have to be afraid of it. You can even see it as a kind of a companion. Oh, you want to eat this? You know, look at that woman's butt. Oh. You know, it's just temptation. Sometimes I like being tempted. This is beetroot, raw beetroot. So I have the feeling it's at least, you know, a little bit okay. So I'm at the Boulder Hall and I'm standing about how many meters is that? 50. 50 meters away, I'm talking to 2 guys. And a young, beautiful woman comes. You know, beautiful, slim body, beautiful figure. She comes. Can I have your help? There's a problem I cannot solve with one of the boulders, right? One of the roots. She cannot solve it. And I think, all right, let's just give it to her. So I go there and then I try to help her because I want to make sure maybe she really wants me. But after I try to solve it with her, she just asks somebody else, can you climb this? So it wasn't really me she wanted, she just wanted somebody. And I seemed available. I seemed like, oh, that guy has something to give. Because he has a beard, he probably knows how to boulder this boulder. And then she comes and says, I need your help. But it wasn't my help she needed. She just needed help in general. From herself. In the end, she had literally all the men swarming around her, trying to solve her problem. While for her, it wasn't about solving the problem. It was about being seen, being in the middle. Some women want to be worshipped, but they just don't know which man. Right? Because there are no real men. So I'm not interested in worshipping her. Because she's not really worshipping me. You see that? You know, if there's a God inside of me and there's a God inside of her, that means that we both have to worship each other. But if she comes and asks me, I need your help, and then she came to me specifically from the other side of the room. She took me away from those two guys. I allowed it to happen. I went with her because I also was curious, what's her deal? Maybe she really wants me, right? But she didn't. Or maybe she did, I just didn't know, right? It's just like, maybe I'm just not really interested. That's also possible. And maybe I am already occupied. Who knows? Because every woman I meet, it's like this push and pull. And I just don't understand this. Because if you want me to be your man, just come and say the damn word. But all the women that I meet, it's just like push and pull. She came to me specifically. She asked me a question, I need your help. The moment I got bored, because I was at the end of my session, I'm not gonna try. Plus I already tried, I knew I couldn't do it. So why would I make a fool out of myself? And when she realized, oh yeah, I mean, he can't really do it, she just turned around to the next best other guy and asked him if he can you climb this? And he couldn't. Nobody could climb it. Even the guy who said he already climbed it couldn't remember how he did it, which sounds a bit like a lie to me, which I get because she's a beautiful woman and men want to worship her. But the problem is, if you worship a woman that just wants to be worshipped for the sake of being worshipped, you're just gonna get nothing out of it. And I'm about give and take. So if there's a woman, she has to come part my way. I can go the distance, but if you keep running, I just lose interest. You know, I am like that. I'm like Peter Pan. If you don't keep me occupied, then I assume that you're just playing around somewhere else. So if I'm not good enough for you, because if she would have been really interested in me, but she wasn't. She was interested in solving the boulder. And she just asked all these men for help. And when I told her the solution, because what was the solution to her problem? She was holding on to the boulder. And I said to her, I have a solution for you. It's you let it go now, and then you come back later to it. And then she said, yeah, but I won't come here again. Well, too bad. Better luck next time. Yeah, like why do you have to solve that specific boulder so badly? I mean, yeah, because it's this, I want to go back and pride myself that I finished the boulder. But she's not gonna say that she had 10 other guys and occupied them. Well, they probably thought, oh, she's really interested in me. While in truth, all she was interested was the boulder. So she was selfish about it. She just didn't care. So sure, I came home from the boulder hall. I cycled there. I bouldered for several hours. I wrote a bit in my book. I talked to lots of people, none of who I'm really personally interested in. But I am in a way, it's just that people also come to me and then I start talking. Can't help it. If I feel like somebody wants to talk to me, you know, I give them a chance and then I see, okay, what's it about? You know, do you want to be my wife? Do you have the balls to keep me occupied and make it possible, even over long distances? Keep the contact, keep in touch. Show me that you really want it. Are you that kind of woman? Or are you the kind of woman that wants me to chase her across the world because she's actually afraid of me? Because I'm pretty settled in myself. I don't really chase people. You know, people who think I'm chasing them, you know, they will keep running until they realize, damn, he's not chasing me. Cheers. And that cheers comes with a middle finger. Because I'm centered. I'm not running. If you're running, then run. So if this woman would have taken the boulder, the problem of her boulder, as an excuse to talk to me, I would have probably allowed it to happen. But she didn't want to talk to me. She just wanted to solve the boulder, and that's what you as a man, but also as a woman, have to learn to distinguish between, you know, people who just use you to make themselves feel better. Because that means if you get out of this, whatever it is, sometimes it's just a conversation, sometimes it's something else. Because once you get out of this, you will feel like you've been raped. Yeah? So no, I cannot really say how I will feel after eating this cheese unless I've eaten it. And in that sense, you can say I've eaten lots of women. Yeah, like a dozen. And the rest of them, I just applied what I learned. And what I learned was that all these women that I had sex with, that I spent my time with, were basically a waste. Because they didn't really want me, they just wanted my cock in their vagina because they had an itch and they wanted me to scratch it. So all I was their extension. Wow, that was really flashy. And that's what I've learned now, right? If somebody comes to you and says, oh yeah, if you need help, you can ask me. Yeah, I don't need your help because you're old. Why would I ask you for help? Because what that says is, you know, I want your help. But my philosophy is, help yourself. Which in these times is the best solution. Because if you say help yourself, then you just create content. And if somebody wants to use it and grow with it, go for it. You know, I don't have to go to the boulder hall and then wait. Because in the end, they were all together. All circling around this lady. Yeah, she had her little flock of men worshipping her. All right? Wow, this is insane. But also, it feels liberating in a way. right? No matter what comes after. Right? No matter how terrible I feel. Right now, I like that I simply say, right, in this moment I made a choice and I stuck with it. So I cannot eat the guacamole because, you know, I always check the ingredients. You know, I'm really doing this for show now. Avo, tomatoes, onions, and then there's some kind of weird thickener. Blech. Who needs thickener? Now let's try this one. It says vegan, yeah? Gluten-free, all right. It says chickpeas, water, sesame mousse, which is tahini. Okay, and then there's sugar in here. Just think about it, man. But this one looks at least a little bit better. It doesn't have thickener. But it has this weird kind of acid regulator. It's very bad, man. So I can show you, and I will do that in a later video, how to make hummus yourself. I also would like to make gluten-free bread. Wow. Because I cannot just live on... I'm just gonna try it. That one's alright. Has a bit of spice to it. But you can just taste that nobody made this. There is no love in this. It's just greed. So yeah, once you realize what this kind of food does, it kind of loses its touch. But at some point, and right, I'm always a little bit weird. It says, you're not weird, it's normal. Because I also have feelings. And people, you know, they just pull me close and then they push me away. Yeah, I don't want to eat this. I want to eat the quark. And you know what the beauty is? I took the food, I tried it, I'm going to throw it away, and next time I will know. I don't like it. You know, I'd rather just throw it in the trash. I'd rather just throw it in the trash. Yeah, so I know it comes with a cost. I know it. And in a way, I hate myself for eating this. And then this soothing voice says, it's all right. But it isn't, because as soon as it's in here, it's going to come out somewhere. And that may take some time. So why am I eating this? I can tell you. I could have maintained this feeling of but what's the point? That's what I sometimes feel. What's the point of sitting alone in your room and feeling good? You know, that's how I think. Why don't you just feel good with other people? You know what I would like to do now? I would like to dial back to just before I started eating this and just nullify my choice to eat this. Because I don't need any of this. So the only reason actually why I ate this now is because I'm afraid. I'm afraid I'm losing my footing. Because when I'm at the boulder hall and I'm talking to people, I'm already somewhere else. I'm not where they are at all. They're stuck in all kinds of things. And I'm just, you know, the bird has left the nest and they're still sitting in the nest. And sometimes I also still want to sit in the nest. So I come back and I stuff myself with food because I want to be heavy again. I also want to be heavy like all of you. So I can, you know, so that we can cling to each other. Yeah. So that I can go boulder with 4 people while 3 are just standing around. You know, I also want to have all your problems. And so I eat, and suddenly I have problems. If I don't eat, I don't really have problems. I don't have to shit. Yeah, I don't have to fart. Only if I don't eat and use an irrigator. Of course. I mean, this stuff takes practice. Not eating. You don't just stop eating. Look at this shit. It doesn't even have form. Like, what is this? I mean, people think this is nice. This disgusting stuff. So all I have to do is actually chuck it because this is way too much. So what I'm saying is, you know, sometimes, just please let me be a little bit stupid. Just sometimes let me be a little bit stupid. Just sometimes. And that's all there is to it. Yeah, just sometimes, maybe I want to do psychedelics. You know, whatever that means. I know what it means for me. I don't know if I need it. But what's the point of being here if I'm not really here anymore? You know, I can be like Maharaji, I know that now. But the problem is also, I feel a little bit sad about it. And that's the predicament people like Maharaji then maybe have. Yeah, everybody likes being around them, likes receiving their attention and their love and their cosmic, oh, he's channeling all the energy. But he's doing it for them. I go to the boulder hall and that's what I'm doing. I hold the space and people don't even know that I'm doing it. They say, oh wow, you've got such a lovely energy. But if I say to them, oh yeah, if I've got such a lovely energy, you know, do you want to come to my place and do a cacao ceremony? And then they shit their pants. So how lovely is my energy if you are afraid of it? You see? You know, speaking with me or listening to me is something entirely different than being in my presence, because I've had people where the only thing I did was hold the space, mirror them something where they were clinging, where they were afraid, and I'm just there, I hold the space, and they start getting angry at me. They say things like, "What are you doing to me?" And all I'm doing is, I'm just sitting there. I'm smoking a joint with them. And I ask some questions. And they shit their pants. And then they say, "What are you doing to me?" And then I say, "What are you doing with yourself?" So the trick is, when you eat this food, to stay in the higher wisdom stuff. To be the observer at all times. But the problem is, when you eat this, it's going to be heavy in your stomach. And it's going to try to pull you down into that area. And down here, it's hell. This is the root chakra. This is hell. If I'm busy digesting, milk from cows that have been enslaved and whose children are being taken away to be slaughtered and mashed into mince meat so that people can eat it and shit it into toilets. This is heavy energy, man. And if I eat this, I can feel it already. It's pulling me down. So now I have to work extra hard. I have to make a real effort to stay up here. And what up here means is third eye. I see clearly. But this is like... So now what I have to do is I have to wait till this passes me. And then tomorrow morning I'll get up and I'll flush my colon just to get it out. Now sometimes I'm not quite sure if there is a valid reason why I'm eating this. Maybe there is a valid reason why I'm eating this. I just want to suffer. And why is that? Because doing what I do comes with a cost. Now listen to this. You go to the boulder hall, and the whole day you go around, you give people some kind of tips. That's what I did. Whether they wanted it or not is out of the question now. But they enjoyed the time they had with me. I was like their friend for 20 minutes, maybe for 5 minutes. But everybody's like this. Don't come too close now. So I go there and I'm their friend. But at one point, they just go back to their own lives and I stay there alone. No, this is something we have to deal with. This is not because I'm sniveling. This is just mucus. And the general the mindset I developed for this is, you know what, fuck it. When I'm at the boulder hall, I give it my best go. I walk around there, because often people go bouldering, they don't know what to do. And if I see that, I just go there and I'm just gonna be their friend for I don't know how long. And then when I feel like they get enough, which I do realize because I'm not just showering them with love. I talk about deep insights that I have had in solitude. And for most people, that's too much. If I start talking, because I speak from a place of inner truth, it just comes out. I don't think about what I'm going to say next. Words just start flowing and then they're there. I often don't even have time to make sense of what I'm saying. I'm just saying things and it all falls into place. And if I come to you and I start talking, I'm not talking like most people. I don't do chit-chat. Immediately when I start talking to you, I start working with your energy. I say things where you're clinging. I learned by now how to say them, to wrap it into candy cotton so that it tastes sweet to you, but when you swallow it, yeah, it's going to start working on you. And I learned to do this. Some people, when they're in my presence, they get angry, they want to punch me, they start screaming at me. You have to learn to deal with that. Because if you stop masturbating, things are going to happen. Not necessarily. Because unless you know how to really channel it, just not masturbating isn't really doing it. You have to know how to transform energy. And that's the tricky part. I felt good. I felt like, oh wow, just from one day of fasting and not masturbating, I felt like I was in heaven. And now I'm back here, I eat this stuff. Ugh. But sometimes I just don't want to feel good. Because when I'm alone in this room, who am I going to shine my light for? Because it's boring. So yeah, I'd rather go to the boulder hall. I'd rather go to the boulder hall, man. And boulder. Right? If I would have the amount of money that it takes to go there every day, I might even do that. Because the only way that I can do it the way that I did it today, really engage with people, is by just doing it. And that means I have to go there, I have to pay a fee. Because if they would pay me, they would say, no, you have to do it like this, you have to do it like that. Now you have to stand behind the counter. And then I have to stand behind the counter. But I really want to be down there doing this. And the question is, well, maybe sometimes you just have to stand behind the counter. Yeah, maybe. It's possible. Olives are really bitter. So now I had these images flashing in my mind. What I should have probably done is drink a cacao. Now the question is, maybe I should have just drunk the cacao, but I felt like it's not enough. Right now I need more. Because why? Basically nobody gave me anything while I was there. I was just handing out. And now I'm back here. There is no woman to say, oh yeah, you did such a good job. There's nobody. I just left. I didn't even say goodbye because I didn't have it in me anymore. I just said, you know, enjoy. Right, that's the moment where somebody would come and say, oh yeah, poor Christopher. And I would say, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Right? Like, don't condescend on me. Don't look down on me. If another man sits in front of you and talks about his troubles, you say nothing. You don't say, poor Christopher. You just listen to him sharing how he feels, and you say nothing. You just listen and shut up while the other man is talking. And then, you know, women sometimes do that. When they're not busy ignoring me. Yeah, women sometimes do that. But it's mostly with men that I talk. Because women, they just do their weird, come and chase me. It's just like, how old are you? 12? It's not really about age. Maybe it's about development. And maybe there's something in chasing someone that I just don't get. But I really think, I mean, if you're a man, if I'm a man, and there's a woman, and the woman comes to me and we see each other and we say, this is it. You know, I don't have to chase anyone. All I have to do is know it and then take responsibility for it. And until now, you know, there were, or maybe are, certain candidates. But I cannot say that anyone ever really came out into the open and said, I'm gonna claim you. You know, I've had young women phrasing wishes and stuff, or sharing visions they might have had about me being a husband, but they were lacking the action, like the force of nature that I'm looking for in a woman, that just comes and that's just right in my face and says, she doesn't even have to say it, but she has to show me you're it. And for that, yeah, maybe she has to chase me, because maybe I'm the diamond. I don't really care. I can be alone for the rest of my life. It's a little bit frustrating. That's true. But I also know what I want. And what I want is a woman that has the balls and that comes to me because it's me. And not because I'm just a guy that happened to be there, right? You know, so a woman like today at the Boulder Hall, which is pretty and beautiful and all of that, and she wears the tightest pants she could get for money and the shortest top that she could afford, so that when she climbs, she makes sure that all the men are going to look at her butt, which is really cheap, a really cheap way to get attention. You know, if I'm in the Boulder Hall, I boulder without a shirt. And I do that because I like bouldering without a shirt. I don't do it to get attention. I do it because I want to do it. And there's a difference in that. Sure, people are going to say, he just wants attention. No, I just really want to boulder without a shirt. Because if I boulder without a shirt, you know, I can be really close. I don't have to wash my clothes. You know, I would boulder naked. But that's where most people draw the line, right? Most people would probably draw the line in underwear. So I'm wearing shorts, right? And I just do that, and it makes people really uncomfortable. Like, really uncomfortable. When I talk to them, they're like, oh my God, he's got a breast, he's got nipples. And of course, they don't just see my body, Because everybody has a third eye. And even if you don't say, I'm going to open it and I'm going to see whatever there is to see, then what's going to happen? Well, you can still feel my presence. There's a certain intensity about me that you just can't place it. Like, you just can't put me into categories. Because sometimes I'm like this, and sometimes I'm like that. Yeah. And then I go there and I help and I think, now it's time to leave. Now it's time to leave. Let's just leave. That's from Avatar, by the way. Yeah. So, I mean, just think about it from my perspective. I have no internet. I also have no movies on my laptop or anything. So the only thing I can do when I'm alone in this apartment is be creative, or sleep, or eat, or bathe, or do all kinds of things that you do when you're alone. Which is contemplate and feel, which brings me back, my feeling is telling me to drink the cacao now. Sounds a bit stupid if you think about it. But also it doesn't. It's just the question, maybe isn't that something you should drink when you just ate nothing? But sometimes I do really weird things. And they do something. Right? Maybe there's something that needs to happen. But what I thought was, I'm gonna drink a cacao with somebody else. And then we're gonna cuddle and give each other massages and have really beautiful sex. You know, that's the image I have in my mind. Anyway. Oh, my back. But it's a good sign. You know, it's like I'm suffering. I'm suffering. You know, I'm suffering so much. But anyway, I still have work to do. Not that much. I'm still thinking about getting a fridge, but I think I just really want to let go of that. Because, right, I mean, some people want to save food. Like, do you want to take responsibility for all the food? Because that's why some people eat, right? Some people eat the whole day because they're afraid they're gonna starve. It's really stupid. Because first of all, nobody's gonna starve. And second of all, like, maybe it's time to just say, no, there's too much food. And one reason there's too much food is because people keep buying it. So the only way to stop overproduction is by consuming less. So somebody has to start, right? So at least, right, this cheese didn't make anyone really rich or something. You know, now I see this, I just think, I just want to drink juice. Wow. It says choose. Choose what, man? Like, choose what? What do I have to choose? Or maybe it says use what you have. Because the cacao isn't getting any fresher. And maybe I just have to push through. Maybe I just had to eat all this food for whatever reason. And maybe what I have to do now is to just do a cacao ceremony. Even if the only reason is that it just feels really stupid. Now, sure, I really feel like just drinking juice. And I'm gonna do that another time. Yeah. Now I've rescued all kinds of foods. And most of it I just tried and I'm just gonna chuck it. You know? Because my feeling tells me, bleh, it's disgusting. Bleh. No, one after another, it's like, bleh, disgusting. So what am I gonna do now? Right? It's just like, you have to fight, man. As much as you despise this life, with all this seclusion and all these restrictions, you have to be free in your mind. Which means if you want to eat cheese, then eat the damn cheese. But don't use it as an excuse to just sit around and be lazy. No. You eat the cheese. Why? Because either you can't sleep and now you eat cheese so that it makes you a bit tired and then you sleep. But then do it consciously. Enjoy doing it. Or, what else? What else have you got? Or, you eat the cheese and then you use, because what I feel like, cheese grounds me also, yeah? And if cheese grounds me, you know, I could dance with that. Ooh, I could. But why would I? Why would I? What is there to dance about? What could we dance about? Look how green it looks. This is what I have created. Yeah, these are the teeth of a man that hasn't brushed them. But I do floss, and I also chew cloves. Yeah, and I eat very little sugar these days. And I still have teeth. Teeth. So I'm trying to keep them. Yeah. So the reason also why I don't brush my teeth is because I like being honest how I smell out of my mouth. Because in this way, I'm sure gonna make sure that I will eat also in a way that makes my breath smell clean naturally. But if I just eat all the time, it smells like a cloaca. So these are just things that you may think about and say, oh wow, I never saw it like this. Or you say, what is he talking about? That's complete nonsense. And then I say, well, give it a chance, yeah? Give it a chance. And I still don't know what's gonna happen, right? But if I sit around waiting for something to happen, that may never happen. Because it's the same thing with my apartment or the apartment I'm living in. It's not really my apartment. You could say I'm occupying it, but somebody gave it to me. And now I have an apartment to fill as my own place. Right? It's just like I imagined it a bit different. I wanted an apartment. I wanted my own space. But I didn't want to work for anybody else. I thought, I'm just working for myself. And now I have an apartment. This is like very strange. I think I invite young women so that they come here and have a cacao ceremony with me. And then we can have sex and cuddle. But I think that really is an escape. Because what it said when I arrived here, now you've got your cave. What does that mean? Well, it's pretty obvious what that means. This is your cave. It's not somebody else's cave. This is your cave. But can I invite people in here? Like, can I have sex here? With I don't know who? Well, until now, nobody really wanted to have sex with me. Maybe I'm already occupied, and maybe that's what women feel, and maybe women just aren't interested in me for whatever reason. Maybe I just don't fit their model of that's how a man should look like. Maybe, my beard is a little bit overwhelming. And maybe there's all kinds of other things. Right? Maybe they think I smell weird because I don't use deo. Or maybe, I don't really know, right? Maybe I'm just a bit too much because I see too much for them. There's too much truth staring them in the face when they're in my presence. Because when I'm with a woman that dresses in very tight pants, I don't look at her and I think, oh wow, you're super sexy, I say she's a beautiful woman, but I also say you're kind of desperate. Because they don't have to wear these pants that are really tight. They don't have to. And so all you need is to find a woman where it makes click. And if it doesn't make click, just don't push it. Because it makes no sense. I've tried, believe me. If it doesn't click, it makes no sense. And if it clicked once, you may try running away from it. But every other woman that you meet, or every other man that you meet, is just gonna be a replacement. And when you know that, you may still try, but it probably won't happen. So I did offer that young woman a cacao ceremony, and I sent her an email. And until now she hasn't replied, which either means she's taking her sweet time, playing catch, or she's afraid, which I get. And the most likely thing to happen is that nothing will come out of it. And then I can sit at home and I can be really sad and say, I'm never gonna have sex. And then what do I do? Because now I'm back at home alone in this apartment. And again I didn't have sex, but I had with myself in the boulder hall. And now I can drink a cacao all on my sorry own. And just say, right? Now I'm going to steal this from Ramdas. It's like, and here we are. This is it. This is the moment. You can either make the most out of it, or you can feel guilty about eating cheese and watching a movie. But if that movie fills your heart with whatever it is at the moment, then just watch it. And enjoy watching it. And then tomorrow, you're gonna do something else with that. Or maybe afterwards, you just do a plank. Yeah. You just walk on all fours through your whole apartment and try to make it look like a lion or a tiger, like graceful, right? Maybe you didn't boulder all the boulders you set yourself to boulder today. That's why when I go to the boulder hall, I have no expectations. I don't know what's gonna come. I may boulder one boulder, and I may boulder 10 boulders. I may even boulder 55 boulders. Yeah? Sometimes I go there, I meet families with children, and I'm just sitting around with 3 beautiful children, and we're having a great time talking about whatever. Yeah, and then they challenge me, and then we do things, right? It's like super nice. And then I talk a bit with their parents. And sometimes I go there and there's like young men that talk to me about depression or whatever, and I listen to them. I say my bit, I tell them a little of what I did, because I was depressed, really depressed. And sure, creating content certainly helps me also, because I want to help people. And that's why I produce a lot of content, in the hope that somebody may find it useful. Well, I find it useful also for myself to create it, because I enjoy creating it. Yeah, and that's an honest attempt to make a living with something that you like and that you love and that you are really, really outrageously good at. I'm outrageously good at what I do because I chose it myself. I looked at, this is what I can do, this is what other people want me to do, and then I said, I'll stay with what I can do. So sure, I go to the boulder hall, I pay 11 euros, I do the job that they should be doing because it's their boulder hall. But nobody's doing it. They should pay someone that walks around and just makes sure that everybody's bouldering. Yeah. So I was already thinking I could go there and I could say, yeah. I could ask them. I could promote my own job to them. But once they would pay me or even allow me to boulder for free, they would feel like they have a right to say something. He's just bouldering for free here. But I don't want special treatment for them, because once they pick up on what I'm doing, they will try to control it, because they think, who does he think he is? He doesn't even want to be part of the team. No, because I don't like teams. I like playing on my own. And that's all I had to say. What the heck? Cheers. Sometimes these messages are a little bit disconcerting.